Today, we're going to be ranking every single Rengoku from worst to best. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you just want to see more Channel Life videos in the future, hit that like button, subscribe, comment below what your favorite Rengoku is in the game, and make sure to hit that bell. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so coming in last place on this tier list, like all of the other Rengoku tier lists, even though they're over a year old, is going to be Satori Ren. Now this bloodline has always been like really booty cheeks. It was good for a singular day, and then it ended up just being absolute garbage after they nerfed the one good ability. So in case you guys are wondering what Satori Ren has to offer, it has one of the worst dash moves in the entire game. Actually, wait, they buffed the Satori Ren dash, so it puts you in an air combo now, so it's not as bad, but it's not as good as the other dashes because you are locked to the ground when dashing. Not only that, but like the actual stun moves really aren't that great either. Like the first move, it used to be where you could spam click it and you could actually stun them for a long time. You can't do that anymore, mostly because I think that they reworked Satori Ren a little bit. And then of course you have the clone ability, which is a counter combined with a clone ability that used to be really good. So what the clone ability used to do would be that it would actually stun them. They would last for like 5 or 6 seconds, and it was a counter, and it also was off of the global cooldown. But now it has actually been nerfed quite a bit. It's not nearly as good as it used to be. I would say Satori Ren's best ability is definitely the third one, and it's still not even like that good. Now the actual mode of Satori Ren is like significantly worse than any of the actual moves of it too. Like Satori Ren has buns. If you ever find someone using exclusively Satori Rengoku, you are going to have a really good time because you're going to absolutely crush them. That was always my opinion when facing it as well. Alright guys, so coming in 9th place is going to be Tengoku. Now, I know Tengoku isn't actually a Rengoku bloodline. I'm going to be honest, I know it's not a Rengoku bloodline, but I'm not doing a Jokai tier list, and so then the Tengokus would never ever appear on any tier list whatsoever. So I'm just going to put it on the Rengoku tier list. If you disagree with that, that's fine. Now, the reason why Tengoku is going to be so low in this tier list is because I'm gonna upfront say this. I think that Tengoku is an insanely fun bloodline to use. It's also really good for M1 combos because it's one of the few bloodlines left that actually do a lot of damage on M1s. So if you want to do M1 combos, the Tengoku mode is pretty decent, but I would refrain from using the abilities of Tengoku mode. You're kind of just going to be using it for the M1s itself. But I mean, the F ability is really good. The F ability actually is a block break ability. The F ability is really good, but the M1s and the F ability of the mode are the only things that are actually worth using. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that Tengoku, personally, I love Tengoku. Tengoku rework is one of the best reworks to ever happen in this game, and the only reason Tengoku is bad is because high damage bloodlines aren't really meta. What's more meta is just like combo extenders or block breakers or escape abilities or just stalling abilities. High damage abilities aren't really meta because most of the time you're going to be able to do high damage by just sequencing your abilities. But I do really like Tengoku. So Tengoku is just a really fun bloodline to use in general. Like the first ability of Tengoku is not really that great. It just knocks them back. But the second and third ability of Tengoku are really fun. So the third ability, it's kind of just a high damage beam that you could control, and it does over like 120,000 damage if you fully hit them. The second ability of Tengoku is what everyone kind of uses when it comes to Tengoku because it's a knockback. As long as you have your cursor on them, it will continue knocking them back. And if you guys played during the time that Tengoku actually just got the rework, everyone copied from my Tengoku showcase. Literally every single person copied my Bankai Tengoku combo, which was literally just block break, Bankai stun, and then you hit them with Tengoku, the Tengoku second ability. Like that was the entire combo. You could still do it, by the way. It still works. Like if you don't know how to make combos or you're just really bad at sequencing abilities, just use that combo, just a block break, Bankai stun, and Tengoku second ability. You'll be able to do enough damage to get them into the like the breakaway, and it's just a fun combo to use as well. Now coming in 8th place is going to be Ryan Gaiden. Now I personally think Ryan Gaiden should definitely have a skin. Actually, wait, does it have a skin? I don't know if Ryan Gaiden actually has a skin. I swear there's a blue version of this. If it has a skin, let me know, because I swear there's a blue version of this. But first of all, it has one of the sickest modes. I'm like Superman posing right now, but the mode is insanely cool looking. The actual abilities of the mode are really not that great. Like, the C-Spec is a counter ability that kind of just attacks them afterwards. The Weapon Spec ability, you click on somebody, it actually does a lot of damage. The Weapon Spec is pretty decent, actually. The Weapon Spec is pretty decent. The M1s are kind of just like that era of Shindo Life M1s where it's just like, it's like an AoE ability that kind of like knocks them back at the end. And then the F ability is just really good for boss grinding if you want to use it for that. Now, the reason why Ryan Gaiden, I personally think it's one of the better bloodlines in the game. I'm just not going to rank it high because nobody really likes this bloodline. Gaiden besides me for some reason. First of all, the third ability of Ryan Gaiden, it's a dash ability that combos them afterwards. Now, this may seem like not a great ability at first, and if they're using any counters whatsoever, it's not a good ability. But if they are using an auto dodge instead of a counter ability, the third ability is like surprisingly good, because the ability, it starts you up, right? And then you dash, and if you hit them, it will summon a clone that constantly attacks them and allows you to combo them afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just a great move in my opinion. I liked using it a lot back when it first came out because people weren't really using counters all that much. If they're using a counter though, you're dead, because you can counter that and it doesn't give you iframes. Now, the first ability of Ryan Gaiden was actually reworked entirely. So the ability used to last way longer than it should have. Now it's just an iframe ability. It's pretty good overall. That was actually one of my changes. Now it's just an iframe ability that you can cast and do damage to people. Pretty good ability overall. But my personal favorite ability is actually the second one of Ryan Gaiden. So what people usually do, and by people I mean literally just me, is you do this, you knock them down, and then you use the second ability. It actually goes into a stun attack right here, which you can then, because it actually does stun them afterwards, which you can then go into another ability. I really like Ryan Gaiden. I think Ryan Gaiden is great. It actually did receive a couple nerfs to the second ability in general, but I love Ryan Gaiden. It's one of my favorite bloodlines in the entire game, like, if not my favorite bloodline. I just don't use it that much because it's not really as good as the new bloodlines, but I still do use it from time to time. Now, coming to 7th place is going to be the regular Rengoku. Now, regular Rengoku, it's not that bad of a bloodline. Like, I actually really like normal Rengoku. It's just that in the kind of like how the meta is, normal Rengoku just really isn't worth all that much, if I'm gonna be honest. Of course, you have access to all the different modes, all the different spirits and stuff like that. Most of the time, you will be using the stuns, which is going to be the human spirit and the Naraka spirit. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, the main reason why Rengoku mode is so good is because of the fact that these are actually companions and you could have them in competitive. So when you M1 somebody, the clone that is actually summoned will go and attack them, and each clone has their own HP pool. So all of the clones that are around your character do actually have their own individual HP, which is quite good. Also, people say I look like this skin of Rengoku. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi, so there's that. It's also worth saying that Rengoku is like insanely good for extending a bunch of counters, because the weapon spec is a counter that drags them in, if I'm pretty sure, or you click on them. I don't really know. Also, yeah, I do like using Asura. It's kind of like the worst one, but it's the easiest to use. And of course, when you use the ability, they're down for a second. You can't swap for like, I think it's like, yeah, so you can't use the ability for like 20 seconds. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to constantly swap into different modes and just use them when they're off cooldown. Now, the issue with this is that I feel like it's not really a good system to have to hold C and do this. It should be just, you tap it and it swaps to the next one. It would be so much better than what it is now, and I feel like that would be an easy fix, if I'm gonna be honest. But that's enough about the mode. The mode is extremely good when it comes to Rengoku. I really do like the mode and all that, but the actual moves of Rengoku are really nice. So the first move, if you hold it down for enough time, it will actually block break. It does a decent amount of damage and it makes you faster. It's not a bad ability, but most people actually use Rengoku for this pull. So it's a near instant pull ability that actually stuns them afterwards. Also, your M1s do actually have damage attached to them. I'm pretty sure yeah. So the Obi-Wan Rengoku actually shoots out like lightsaber bullets, which is very cool. I actually do really enjoy that. But the main move of Rengoku people use is the mode and the second ability. The third ability is really bad of Rengoku. I would recommend never using it just because it is so unreliable, but it's a very cool ability if I'm going to be honest. Now, coming up in 6th place is going to be D.Va Rengoku. Now, I personally actually really like D.Va Ren. I think D.Va Ren is one of the better bloodlines that were actually added to the game. So when it comes to D.Va Ren, the actual mode is really not that great. Like, the mode, you have the counter, but it's a 30-second counter compared to like Boramaki Gaiden, which has like a 8-second counter. The actual other abilities are also really not that great. I mean, like, nobody uses D.Va Ren for the mode. I'm just gonna be honest here. Nobody uses D.Va Ren for the actual mode. People are only going to be using it for the actual abilities. Now, the first ability of D.Va Ren is a click attack that actually does stun people. So what people used to use this ability for was just as a combo extender, because you could knock someone down out of the air combo and then hit them them with this ability and continue it up, you could still do that. It's just there's better abilities that do that same exact thing. The second ability is almost the borderline the exact same thing as the Rengoku pull ability, but it lasts a lot longer, which allows you to get your cooldowns back before you continue comboing them. Now, when it comes to this actual bloodline, I'll show you this right here, actually, like that. But when it comes to this bloodline specifically, people mainly use it for the third ability, which used to be a block break ability that summoned meteors afterwards. I don't think it block breaks anymore, if I'm not mistaken, so it's really not as good as it used to be, but it's just a really, really great ability still, even if it's not block breaking, because the fact it summons meteors means that you're able to charge your chi, and if they try to combo you and they get hit by a meteor, you can immediately go into comboing them afterwards. But yeah, D.Va Ren doesn't really have anything going for it. It's just a really good overall bloodline that you could pull for and really not need anything else. Now, coming to 5th place is going to be one of the most boring bloodlines in the game, Doku Tengoku. I'm using the skin Doku Scorpion because I do actually like this skin. It's really cool. But the main reason why Doku Tengoku is so good, so first of all, you have the C spec of Doku Tengoku, which is a dash attack that kind of like farts on them. It's okay for comboing in general. Like, it's an okay combo extending move. And then you actually have the weapon spec, which is a counter ability, I believe. No, the weapon spec is the ability that actually launches balls at them. And yeah, just overall, Doku Tengoku, the mode is okay, but people don't really use it for the mode. People use it, first of all, the first ability is a near instant block breaking ability. I really like the first ability of Doku Tengoku. The other abilities are very lame, but the first ability is an instant block breaking ability. The second one is a dash attack. Now, this is one of the reasons why people actually use Doku Tengoku a lot, because they actually rework Doku Tengoku so that now the ability goes into an air combo instead of launching them away. So that's the main reason why Doku Tengoku is so good right now, is actually just because of the second move. Now, in case you actually want to use a counter as well, Doku Tengoku also has one of the absolute best counters in the entire game, because it launches them afterwards with a stun attack, and if you combine this with the second ability, it's pretty much just infinite combo extending after you actually get the counter on them. Now, it's worth mentioning that I actually do think that the second and third move are extremely good from Doku Tengoku. I just think they're very boring. Doku Tengoku third move, by the way, I love that move. I used to use it like forever, and then it became meta and it became boring because everybody was using the super overpowered counter ability like this, and Rogue Games... They never nerfed it. So it's still really good. It also drains their chi, if I'm not mistaken. Just a really good bloodline overall. You won't be hurting if you get this bloodline for combo extending or the counter. Now we're on to Ryan Ren, which this is my favorite skin, in case you guys don't know, in the game. Ryan Ren is my favorite skin in the entire game. So the issue with Ryan Ren is that the moves are good, but the mode is honestly like really, really bad. So the mode is just a bunch of like charge attacks and things like that. It's not very good. The mode is really bad. I think the F ability is pretty decent on it though, because it's just kind of like, it's a block break. It casually just does damage. The F ability isn't bad. I also think the M1s, yeah, they're ranged. But the main reason why Ryan Ren is so good, first of all, this pull ability is just insanely good because it locks them in place for your next combo, and it's really, really easy to just use in combos in general. One of the best stuns in the entire game, in my personal opinion. It also used to give you iframes. Now it just gives you hyper armor, so you can cast it even when you're getting attacked, potentially drag them in and actually combo them. It used to give iframes, but it doesn't anymore. Also, this second ability of Ryan Ren is one of my absolute favorite iframe moves in the entire game. So when you use this move, it makes you faster. You click on them and it stuns them, and it also gives you iframes. So it's a stun attack that gives you iframes. It does a decent amount of damage. I really like the ability. It has always been one of my favorite iframes of the game. I don't really use it anymore, but if you get stuck with Ryan Ren, you will not be disappointed by the ability. And of course, you have the third ability of Ryan Ren, which is honestly like pretty terrible. The main reason why it's going to be here is, of course, for the first and second ability of Ryan Ren. Now, coming to third place is going to be Forge Ren. I'm not going to stall Forge Ren for that long. I'm also not using the mode because the mode constantly breaks my character, and I would recommend you guys don't use it either. But the weapon spec on the mode is actually pretty good. It's a block break ability. It does 100k damage. It's a good ability. Now, the second and third move of Forge Ren are really not that great. The second move is on stun global cooldown. It also actually drains their mode if you want to do that. And the third ability of Forge Ren is also really not that great. Now, the reason why people use Forged Ren, and this is the reason why it's third place. One singular ability of Forged Ren that you could put on your F slot. I'll show you right now. Boom. On your F slot, like you could just put it on your left side, and then it's just an EKG ability. It broke my character. So yeah, that's why I never personally use Forged Ren, because it constantly breaks your character. I don't like the chance of it doing that, if I'm gonna be honest. Now, the main reason why Forged Ren is so good, oh my gosh, my character is still broken. Oh my gosh, Relcabes. This is what Forge Ren does, bro. Like, actually. Alright, so I would recommend never using Forge Ren. Instead, use Forge Sengoku. But the first move is just an insanely long stall move. And pretty much while you're in it, it's just like you're never going to get hit. And it lasts such a long period of time that allows you to run away. It also gives you hyper armor if that's what you're into. But most of the time, you just use it to stall out fights because it actually does, it does stun them when you run over them. So you use it just to stall out fights, get your cooldowns back. And the fact that it is a singular ability that does that is just kind of absurd when considering how good one singular ability can be just for stalling out fights. Like, if you ever fought someone that was using that ability, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to, like, they will stall the entire fight. Now, coming in second place is going to be Shindai Ren. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying Shindai Ren is not good for PvP. Do not use it for PvP. You can, but I would recommend not using it for PvP. Now, the actual abilities are, I would recommend only using this bloodline for PvE. The counter ability is much easier to hit on bosses because you know exactly when they're going to attack you. And they do a lot of damage to bosses. Like you guys can see, I'm doing 16k damage a hit on this counter. It's one of the highest damage counters in the game, if not the highest damage counter. And then you combine that with the C spec, which makes it do even more damage. And then you could also add in like the weapon spec. But you're mainly just going to be M1ing bosses with this bloodline, using the C spec and using the counter on the boss, and then spamming all of your other abilities from your PvE bloodlines. But I do really think that this is one of the best PvE bloodlines, especially for noobs. Now, the honorable mention for this tier list is going to be Raiden Sabaru. Now, Raiden Sabaru, I just wanted to include it on a tier list because I'm probably never going to include Raiden Sabaru in a tier list because I'm not doing a Sabaru tier list because there's only 3 of them. But I just wanted to show you guys what Raiden Sabaru has to offer because I almost never include it on my tier list themselves. But Raiden Sabaru is a pretty good bloodline overall. Now, the actual mode of it, so the C-spec, it kind of dashes towards people and stuns them, and it actually does quite a bit of damage if you're on a single target. The weapon spec of it is kind of just it's like an Odin Wolf ability, so it allows you to combo extend. I would recommend not using the weapon spec. And then of course you have the F ability of it, which when you click on somebody, it does stun them and allows you to continue comboing them afterwards. So I mean, like, Raiden Sabaru mode is pretty decent. The stat gains on it are insanely low, which is why I recommend not using the mode, but the moves are decent enough that if you're stuck with Raiden Sabaru, you'll be fine. And then the actual moves of Raiden Sabaru are some of the most fun moves in the entire game. Now, the third move of Raiden Sabaru is a counter move, and if they were too late, I'll show you guys that in 20 seconds. But the second move of Raiden Sabaru is a, look at this. So you hit someone constantly with a stun ability, and then you dash to them, and it allows you to combo extend afterwards. It's kind of just a free ability in general. But I'm gonna be honest, the reason why Raiden Sabaru isn't nearly as good as it should be, a lot of these moves are very like EKG-esque, where they don't really do anything themselves. They're more of just setup abilities. Like Boramaki Gaiden's in EKG, where the abilities are set up for different abilities. Like, this is a combo extending ability, but the bloodline itself really can't do all that much. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely should be an EKG. Now, I'll show you guys the counter right here. So the counter ability is pretty decent. It puts you guys in a really giant air combo. If you guys are into air combos, like if you're using Bruce Kenichi, it'll be really good with that. And then of course the first ability of Raiden Sabaru, which is like one of the reasons why people actually use this bloodline a lot. It's a really long range dash ability that allows you to combo extend. It does teleport you away from them, but you could always follow it up with another ability. Like, I'll show you guys first in the second ability. Like, I want to see if I can do this real quick. So he's going to do this, and then I'm going to hit him with the second ability. That is so goofy, man. That's such a goofy combo. And then you follow it up with the first ability. It's a really long range ability that allows you to combo people. It stuns them afterwards. Like, Raiden Sabaru is just a really good combo extending bloodline. But the issue is that it gets rid of your actual bloodline slots, which is why nobody uses this bloodline unless it's for like the glitch with the first ability and Aizen. So now on to my personal favorite bloodline right now in the game. It's going to be Boramaki Gaiden. Now, Boramaki Gaiden, I've already told you guys a bunch before. It's going to be in first place. I don't know if you guys consider this a Rengoku or not. I do, but if you guys don't consider this a Rengoku, then just move it, just take it off the tier list, you know what I mean, and then move everything else one up. But when it comes to Boramaki Gaiden, the bloodline itself is just really great for integrating with your combos, and it's just a really easy to use bloodline. I really enjoy it personally. I think Boramaki Gaiden is great. I like the first 2 abilities of Boramaki Gaiden. People also actually use the mode quite a lot. The mode is really good just because of this counter ability right here. Basically 8 seconds by the time it ends, and it does a lot of damage, and it will chase them down permanently. You also do have the C-Spec, which is kind of just an AoE damage ability, good for team fights, but you're mainly going to be using the counter and the F ability of the mode itself, and the first two abilities of Boramaki Gaiden. I just really like the first two abilities. I think they're so freaking good, man. I love using them. I'm the combo guy, and they're just really good for combos. Anyways, guys, that should be it for this Rengoku tier list. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys want to see more in the future, hit the like button, subscribe with that bell on, like the video, and comment below what your favorite Rengoku is. My favorite Rengoku is Ryan Gaiden, followed with Boramaki Gaiden. Peace.